morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. Look at Gladiator Guru. She's kind of great today. Good morning, everyone.
I'm
This is
I'm coming.
this is the first. We haven't had zero people on when we started. Usually we have people coming on like before we're even starting. There's Milagros. Yay, we finally got somebody on. Thank you, Milagros, for being here. Good morning and happy February 15th. Today is the day after the quote love day. And we hope you had a very special love day. We hope that you provided love to yourself. And if you shared it with other people, even better. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I am the badass Buddha Lori Monaco. I am coming to you from, where am I coming from? I am coming to you from southern, the South. Yeah, that's true. But Eastern Tennessee, where it is, it's not too chilly this morning, but it's supposed to get nice out. It's another sunny day. Good morning, Henny. Happy that you are here. And good morning, my beautiful friend.
Good morning. I'm sorry, I'm getting organized.
We've had such a morning. Like we had connectivity issues, setup issues. So hopefully everything will be worked out Tuesday, because Tuesday I actually won't be here. Gladiator Guru is going to be running the show all by herself. And even every single time that we get on, Facebook drops us, and then I have to like delete it and then bring it back on. So hopefully that will not be the issue on Tuesday, although I'm sure Gladiator Guru will be able to handle it. Good morning, Desiree. Happy that you were here. All right, introduce
Hola,
yourself.
Milagros.
Introduce.
Sometimes I forget because I'm so awesome that I barely ever need an introduction, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to follow protocol right here. Hola, mi gente, aquí con la Margarita, your Gladiator Guru. It is Thursday already, the end of the week. The end of the week, and this is the love month. So anyone want to share what they've done for themselves this week? What successes have you accomplished this Thursday? The fifth day of the week?
What love have you given to yourself this week? What did you do for yourself yesterday? What nice things did you do for yourself yesterday? And you know what? Share what nice things you did for others or someone did for you, because again, people struggle with that day. But sometimes what I like about it, I don't like the commercialism about it. What I like is the idea of it makes people stop and think. Most people, some people still forget, but like I'm just gonna share this because and I'm really not sharing it to toot my own horn, honestly, really. We have a next door neighbor, and she's so lovely. Her daughter lives about 4 hours away, so she's by herself a lot. She's about 81 years old. She's our adopted mother down here. So we look after her, and we decided to give her a bouquet of flowers. We figured her daughter's not close enough, nor is her granddaughter. So we're like, what the heck? It's nice. So we gave her a bouquet of flowers, and she was so happy. Like I rang the doorbell, but she didn't answer. I called her. She didn't answer. She calls me about an hour later, maybe not even. And she said, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I was taking a nap. And I saw the flowers. Oh my gosh, that was so nice of you." She's like, so I joked. I said, "So will you be our Valentine?" And she's like, "Of course," So then I get a text from her daughter, and her daughter's like, "Oh my God." Oh no, actually, let me see. It wasn't a text. It was a voicemail, which was even better. She's like, "You guys are like unbelievable. Like you're great." And we weren't looking for the accolade. You know what I mean? It was just, we were just thinking about it, and we were like, you know what? It's just a nice thing to do. And then the irony is that I said to my sister, I'm like, actually, we forgot to get our mother anything, but it was a last minute decision to just walk over there and get her the flowers, because we figured nobody else nobody else got her anything. And it was just a nice, gesture. So I think that I like the holiday, like quote holidays for, sometimes it just makes us more aware of other people and, what we can do for other people. But hey, if we do it on an off day too, that's even more special, so that's why I like that holiday. I like, because it gets people thinking in those terms. And I think we need more love in the world. All we need is love. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do the intro and the intention. I mean, the intention and the mantra. I'm checking off my list.
I like how you moved me on. You're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Shut
No,
up.
no,
Let's
no.
go.
We're gonna get back to you, but then if we keep going on that, we're gonna forget the
No,
most
it's
important
okay.
part
It's
of Viva.
fine. All right. Intention. Be purposeful. Be intentional.
And do it with gratitude. Be grateful that you can, and then do. And the
That's right.
mantra.
Mantra time. I am a disruptor.
I am a disruptor.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am magically orgasmic.
Ole.
And I keep it real.
All day, no doubt. I love that. Yes, that was very special. And you know what the beauty of knowing thyself is, and the beauty of self-awareness and self-trust and self-belief, is that you can share certain parts that it's totally meaningful to you, and no one can say anything different. Like the badass Buddha and I, total opposites on this Valentine's Day shit. But I love that she uses that and says that it's a great reminder to be of service and to remind people, I see you. You're worthy. And that was beautiful. Can you imagine that lady probably went to sleep with a big smile on her face? Because people need that. People need to know they're seen, that they're visible, because sometimes we stay in a cocoon so long we feel like we're invisible to the world. Nobody knows us. So that was absolutely beautiful of you and me and to have done. And sometimes it's not an effort that you have to go far and beyond, because you had someone right there that needed that. So I think that was beautiful. And Milagros said she went to her favorite restaurant yesterday. And I think little things like that do matter.
Milagros, did you go by yourself, or did you go with your kids, or let us know? Yes,
And
we
I
know.
say, I think, yeah, the love languages we're talking about, I think the biggest and most difficult love you're ever going to have is self-love. And when you can do that, then it can pour out of you beautifully. Good morning, Madeline. I thought that was Milagros answering. And then I think we learn how to take this one day in February, the love month, which is the shortest month out of the 12 months, and you incorporate it into your life. Even if you do something glamorous once a month and call that your Valentine's Day, I think that's like reminding yourself constantly, oh, yes, only me. But, that's beautiful. I celebrate that. And I think that what Valentine's Day teaches us is that you don't have to wait for once a year, because it feels so good to go next door and give a bouquet of flowers to someone. How about when those little kids come up to you with the weeds? I think that is so priceless. And you're looking at it and they're like so happy to give you. Then they cut it so close that you got the bud of the flower. And they're like, here for
Do
you.
anything with it.
And I think, right? I think that is the most valuable show of attention, of love, of hello, my spirit recognizes your spirit. And they can't put their emotions into words with their children, but they'll bring you that little flower. And don't smile too big, because then they're bringing you the whole tree. They're going back and forth. And I think I
Don't
can
smile
spend all
too
day
big.
with that type of love, because that is the most genuine to the core kind of love. But again, we can be that love like Lori and her sister was. That is pure, like, how could you say toot your own horn? That is something we got to be reminded of.
Well, I
constantly.
didn't want it. I didn't want to share it like as if like, oh, I did this really nice thing. It was, truth be told, it was very like I had thought about it the day before. I thought about her. And then I felt a little guilty because I really wasn't thinking about my mom, but it was more of, like I know my mom, like she has people near her that would like do nice things for her. And I thought about this lady and I just thought, her daughter would mean well, but her daughter's like 4 hours away. So I thought about it the night before, but then I sort of, I kind of put it on the back table, in my head. And then last minute, it was like, you know what? And it was a nice day out and it was like, I'm just going to walk them over there. And my sister and I, we talked about it and it just was right. You know what I mean? It was just one of those things. And I think to me, this is so here we go with the love language, right? It's service to others in that sense of, it was like a service, you know what I mean? Like it was just doing something nice. Like we love doing stuff for that lady. Like but I'm going to tell you, for 81, she is crazy. Like the stuff that this lady can do. And in fact, I was working in the yard, like doing yard, like literally like I had branches that we were like grinding in one of those big, chipper machines, and she walks over and she goes, "Do you need any help?" I'm like, "Oh my God bless you," But so I think it was really just along the lines, like sometimes we need a holiday such as that to be able to express love to people. And this is the part that, this is why I like holidays like this. It's interesting. Like if we were to bring flowers to her any other day, she'd be receptive of it. It's not that she wouldn't be. She would be receptive of it. But other people, like, and this is what we're going to be talking about actually next week. We're going to be talking about conditional and unconditional love. It's people who just are willing to give and receive with nothing, like there's nothing that you want in return. So but it starts with understanding your love language and understanding other people's. Like if you have an individual who doesn't like gifts and that's not their love language, and they tend to be very, but you're not a conditional love person. You're a very unconditional love person. But if they are a conditional love person, then they're going to be very apprehensive. Like, why are you giving me the gift? What do you want for this? Like, it's not even a question of not receiving it and you're uncomfortable. It's what's the catch? So we asked you to look into your love language, to really sit with this. And today we're going to be talking about, how about the people that are closest to you? The people that are around you, your children, your significant others, your siblings, your spouse, or your, whatever, anybody, your best friend. What is their love language? What do you know about them? And you could put that in there if you want. You can put, I have my closest friend, this is his love language, or this is my kids, this is what I know about them, and it's important that not only do you know yours, but you know the people around you, and then you tell the people around you what yours is, so that they also know, so they get it right. Like for me, it's just, I didn't need gifts for my children yesterday, but cuddling with them, or giving a hug and kiss. Hey, I said that to my middle one. I'm like, I didn't get you anything for Valentine's Day. She started laughing, but I gave her a big hug and kiss, and we hugged each other, and I said, I love you. And that was fine. She didn't turn around and go, oh, my mother didn't buy me a card. And my mama. I would rather have the hug and kiss and the time, right? Quality time, than somebody just throw a card at me and go, oh, here you go, and give you some flowers. It's like,
I think sometimes we train them to, like, in saying that, did you always buy them something when they were little? Did you always buy them Valentine's Day heart or something?
No.
I think, oh no, they never got a Valentine's heart or gift from you? Sometimes that's why we.
Sometimes like a little teeny thing, but they like
Well,
I
that's why I'm
always
saying.
no,
That's what
what
I'm
I'm
saying.
saying is but I wasn't big on it. Like I'm not big on cards. I don't like cards because I think it's a waste of money and resources. But um I don't expect it from them and they don't expect it from me. And you're right, it's like a
Oh,
training.
okay.
I love when they make me stuff. That was always fun. Like I loved when they would be at school and they would come back with the little folding paper heart that they made, at school. Then that would be lovely. I was always into that, but I don't
Oh,
have the
okay. Yeah.
expectation of it.
I think when my kids were real little and they had to do the Valentine's stuff for school and bring cupcakes and stuff like that. But I never got them used to receiving anything. So when they didn't get anything, they didn't, there was no explaining. But let me tell you, Gail says she bought herself flowers. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. I bought myself this scarf that says love all over it and it has the heart. And I was
And
so
I
excited.
love it. I love how you strategically got the heart.
Exactly. That took me like 5 minutes to accomplish, but I got it. And I treated myself, which I do anyway, because I treat myself all the time. It's not a like whoo. It's I need this or I need this. I need my mind to go somewhere else so that I can create this. So I went to my favorite store. I went to Goodwill. That's where I found this scarf for $1.50. And I came home
Nice.
and I washed all the scarves I bought. And it smells so fresh as I'm sitting here and it's moving. Um, that's
Yeah,
exactly what it is.
absolutely.
That's what the badass Buddha was saying. It's more that human connection. So when people want to fill the void with superficial gifts, then you're dismissing the fact. How many times husbands have given their wives gift certificates or here's some money, you're picky, buy whatever you want. And so I think exactly it is about spending time. It's about cuddling on the couch and watching a movie and laughing together and doing all kinds of stuff like that. But let me tell you, back to me. So here I am at Goodwill. And as I told you before, every time I go to Goodwill, my love, I do not like, I think hate would be too strong of a word, but it makes me very uncomfortable to receive gifts. Not uncomfortable because of the gift itself, uncomfortable because you're giving it to me. So I don't want to offend you or hurt your feelings or come off as being this rude bitch. So I have to swallow it. And I think that's like a golf ball going down my throat because I'm doing something that I normally don't do because I don't want to offend somebody who's doing such a pretty gesture. So I try to get it out there. I try to always put myself out there. I'm going to tell you about me before you hear it from anybody else so that there's no misunderstanding. But then people still think that I'm joking or that I don't mean it or because it's coming from them that it's not going to make me feel any kind of way. So that, but I love giving. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be. I don't know if that's normal, but I love gifting. Like anybody on this show that has ever been to my house will know you don't leave my house without something, whether it be a book, but I have to know that you're a book lover because I'm very particular with my books, whether it's a scarf, whether it's a chaleco, whatever it may be. You never leave without something. And so I'm the gifter. I'm not the receiver. But anyway, back to the Goodwill. So I walk in the Goodwill. I'm looking for books, right? I'm looking for the Alchemist, which we have to really go into in-depth conversation because I want to know where everybody's at with that. So I'm at the bookcase and I got so excited. Anybody else would have said, what? I felt like I made it on a shelf. I was so excited because I found my first published book from 2006
Get out of
on the,
here.
in great condition. Um, Here's the Goodwill thing.
Oh my
And
God.
here you see where I inscribed it to somebody in September 18, 2006. And I'm trying to think, who's Barbara? but it's in good condition. And I
And
saw
Barbara didn't
it,
want it anymore.
well, to have donated it, how many years later? She bought this in 2006.
Oh my
So
gosh,
she
that's funny.
either Barbara passed away and somebody donated her
Could
belongings.
be. Yeah.
I'm saying that this was so exciting for me to find. Um, I
Oh,
found it next to this book. Um,
oh,
and I found it next to this one. So I was like, I'm between authors. Like this guy's a
that's a good book,
great
by the way.
author.
That's actually really good.
Yeah. And this one as well. And my book was in between. And let me tell you something. When I text my sister the picture, I don't know if she's on. She's like, motherfuckers, how they're just gonna donate your book. But I took it like, this is amazing. You know what's more amazing? That I found it. Now anybody else would say, I'm gonna leave it there, let someone. No, this was such a treasure. I'll tell you why. I sold out from all these books that I had sent to the print shop back in 2006. I sold out of my 300 books in a month and a half because I had went to Florida afterwards. But I had 2 book signings a week for the first 2 weeks that these books were published. And so not to have my own copy and finding it, yeah, it's dedicated to Barbara, but that's special to me. I'm going to write the date that I rebought it. So what I'm saying is, see, the universe gifted me a priceless gift yesterday. And I went in and I said, I need a red shirt, but I didn't find no red shirt, duh. But I find this. And then I got these books. So I'm saying sometimes we don't get what we think we want, we get what we need. And I think love is a beautiful thing, but just do it as you do breathing, not on special occasions, not because it's a birthday or anniversary or whatever. Do it because it is part of what you do. Breathe through the bullshit. You know, like some people I've been hearing a lot of and I'm like, breathe. Just stop and breathe. One, you don't need to be filtering that out because in that moment you're unaware, but use the love language to love yourself because the only one getting stressed here is you, right? So it's like a quote that I read that says, please do not disturb my peace if you're at war with yourself. And I thought that was powerful. So I think love is love is love. I love me. Obviously, we all love you. We both love all of you. You see how I said that? So they wanted to share the book. Absolutely. Or this, I think the lady died because if it's the Barbara I'm thinking about, she was in her 60s back in 2006. But carry on.
You know, I think that I love the way you went with this because it's a sign. You know, your book was sitting between like books that were New York Times bestsellers. You know what I mean? And maybe that's the sign is to tell you keep writing
Mm-hmm.
Margarita de Margarita because that's the next step. That's the next step for you. And but I know where Janet's coming from because that's the first thing I thought of too. Like Janet and I are on the same label. I'm like, oh, they gave it away, you know. But you know what though? That's the beauty. We could look at it. I love how you turn this because what we don't necessarily need anymore, we can share with other people. I mean, I was thinking about that myself. I have so many books. Like I have so many books. I think some of them I've not even read because I bought them, you know, when you get into those head spaces where you're like, oh, I got to get this book. I heard it's really good or whatever. And I bought a bunch of them and I'm like, do I really need them? Like, do I need to be looking at them or could I share them with people or maybe create some sort of lending library with people that I know and say, these are really good, powerful books because they're
Mm-hmm.
like all self-help books, you know, but it was interesting because, and again, we haven't forgotten the fact that we are reading The Alchemist. So if you have not got your copy, if you have not picked up your copy of The Alchemist, you should have noticed that it's been posting on the Viva page, like pretty much all the time. So we're and on Instagram and Facebook. So if you have not gotten your copy, get it. If you want to just go to the library, get it. If you have a copy that you've already read, just read it again. And good morning, Nan. Oh, Nan Janice. I've talked to Nan in so long, and I so apologize, Nan. I miss you. And Chenille's on.
Good
Good
morning,
morning.
Janelle.
But it's important because on the 29th, the leap day, we will be talking about this book and how it impacted you and what you learned from it. And here's the cool part. I got the book. I've had the book, and I gave my daughter. I read it because it was such a quick read, and I gave it to my middle daughter to read. And my middle daughter is, I think, almost finished with it. And I keep asking, like, how do you like the book? She's like, I love it. I love it. And with that, it made me think, you know what, I'm going to buy. I had a couple of books. I don't know what happened to them, but along the same kind of lines, like the Celestine Prophecy and Way of the Peaceful Warrior. And they were very impactful for me in my 20s. And so I got her those books. And then the intention is, I said to her, I'm like, I think I need to reread them too, because especially the Celestine Prophecy. But the point is that it just allows us to connect with ourselves deeper. The more we connect with ourselves, the more we understand ourselves, the more we understand our love language, the more we understand what's important to us, the more we are willing to stand up for ourselves and say, this is okay. I'm good with this. This is what I want. This is not okay in my life. I will no longer tolerate that. And all of this is connected. That's why reading that book, again, please, I'm like asking you, if you have not read the book yet, or if you've read it already and it's been quite some time, please read it again and come on to the 29th. And if you cannot come on live, just at least watch the show on the 29th. But if you can come on live and just listen to it in the background for whatever you're doing, please do. Because this book really, I'm telling you, it has everything to do with your love language too. It's about following your heart, believing in yourself. It's about, I don't want to give things away if you've never read it before. And I love, Kathy, I saw your post with the book, and we're thrilled. Like, we're thrilled that you're sharing it. I tried tagging Paolo in all our stuff that we posted, but I don't know if he's paying attention.
Right, his person does that. But let me tell you, the best part of The Alchemist is all the quotes, because all the quotes that he says and he tells you about and he inspires you with, they touch something within each of everybody. I think, I don't think we're all going to feel the same thing for the same quote, but there's many quotes throughout the book that brings you back to you. So pay attention when you're reading this book. Read it with intention so that you can understand. Put it down. Go and do laundry, cook, whatever, then come back to it and then read the last paragraph of the last page you've already read, just to connect you to where you're going now, so that there's no really big gap between you reading. It's like my sister's on.
Hi, Connie. Good morning.
When when I watch a season ends, I always go back to the last episode of the first season just to connect me. And I do that with books. I go back and I read the last paragraph just to jar my memory of where I left off and reconnect my emotions to the book, because that's imperative for me, is to be emotionally involved in a book I'm reading, not just visualizing the words and reading it. And I love to read out loud to myself so that I can rehear what I'm saying. There's so many ways to do that. But I was reading through some stuff yesterday, and I read that I prayed for you. When you say that to people, that's also such a deep love language. And because it reminds you, like Rumi says, that love is not an emotion, it is your very existence. So when we say love hurts, love is cruel, I hate love, because of love I got into this, remember, you are the love you're talking about. You are the love you gave. You're not responsible, you're not in control of any love that someone is giving to you, only of what you are participating in. So love isn't an emotion, it is who you are. And if who you're with doesn't appreciate that love, then bye bye. See you later. I'm out.
I
And that's, go ahead.
I appreciate you saying that, because see, you've always had it together. You've always been very clear on yourself, and it's so admirable. Like it's like I said, you're very influential to, well, influential almost seems in you're inspiring. That's a better choice of words. That's how I feel about you.
Thank you.
You're inspiring because you've always been very clear on yourself, and the more I hear your stories and the more you speak, that is what I have been striving towards for the last almost 8 years. And it really made me think a lot. Is what, and especially what you just said, is that it if people can't love you and respect you, then they don't need to have a place in your life. But it starts with you, because we said this on Tuesday. If you cannot love and respect yourself, how do we expect other people to? Now, it takes a very special, significant other or somebody else in your life to love and respect you beyond what you do for yourself. There are people out there that are like that are like, they believe in you so much, and they're constantly on you going, I don't know why you think that way. I don't know why you feel that way about yourself. You're such a wonderful person. And it comes from their heart. But when you don't love and respect yourself, it opens you up to the bad people out there. It opens you up to manipulation. It opens you up to control, coercion. And so this is it. This is where you have to say to yourself, enough already, no mas. Like I've got to step up for myself. So I've got to learn about myself. And then I have to tell everybody around me, this is who I am. This is what I love about myself. And this is how to love me. And if they're not willing to step up, then they're not willing to step up. And then you say goodbye, and that leads to the conversation for next week, because that's talking about conditional, unconditional, all those, it'll just all come out to where you'll see the difference, But I love that you said that, the guru.
Well, because it's true, and a lot of people still want to blame the perpetrator in their lives. They still want to blame the person who hurt them when you chose that person. You chose to trust, and now you're angry at that person because you trust them, and they hurt you. When you don't love yourself, you make poor choices, point blank, period. Yeah. You made the poor choice in falling in love with a man for whatever reason. I've known people that got married just because they reached a certain age and they wanted to get married, to be totally miserable right now, just to say they got married. Now, yeah, I am a different breed. I really am, because sometimes I say, Margie, what are you doing? Do you really? Sometimes I have these deep conversations with myself, but we always come out laughing and shit, and we skip away. Everything's always good at the end of the conversation. But a lot of people say, why you always want to blame the woman? I'm not blaming the woman. I'm explaining to the individual. If you are love, you attract love. If you are confused, insecure, easily intimidated, you will attract motherfuckers. And then you're going to blame them because you want to take yourself out of the equation. We've all maybe have fallen into that at some time in our lives, because I used to love bad boys. And then, sometimes we do provoke that into our lives because it is something we wanted. But you have to learn from the mistakes you have made and not continue and then blame everybody around you.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not the one that's going to say, well, you know what? I know they hurt you. It's their loss, blah, blah, blah. No, it's your gain if you make a decision to defend and protect yourself. We're so quick to say, well, it's their loss. When I walk away, it's their loss. Why aren't you thinking for self? Why aren't you honoring self and respecting self and say, I'm choosing to leave for my gain?
Yeah.
But because we always want someone to blame. So your gain is always at the tip of the dog's tail.
Yeah.
Way back there.
Yep. Why does this keep happening to me? Blah, blah, blah. You play the victim. And I know, because I've been there.
Now, if you are still triggered, and I hate that word. If you're still triggered by someone from your past, and it's triggered your something, whatever, a scent that reminds you of them. You drive down a street that you used to, that had the restaurant you saw, enjoyed, whatever the case may be, all that bullshit, little holding on to those memories. It's your fault. It is your purpose. It is your creating this ambiance of memories. So when you are triggered, it's because you are still upset. You are still angry. And then you're masking that anger with, well, I was hurt. I was in love and I was hurt. You're not hurt anymore. You're still angry.
Yeah.
Because maybe you wasn't bold enough to speak your piece. Maybe you're not courageous enough to sever everything off completely. It all goes back to you. And you know what? I'll be labeled whatever you want to label if I'm pushing buttons right now. But the reality is, it started with you making the choice and it ends with you making the choice. When you choose you in between the bullshit, this happened, I chose you. This happened because you're weak. You're intimidated by my strength. He's whatever, whatever, whatever. But it's up to you to stay or go. And when you choose to stay, then you are granting permission for that individual to treat you like trash. So now you're all scratched up, you're wounded, you're bleeding from here, your hair's falling out, you're doing all this kind of stuff, and everything is that person's fault. Well, I'm here. My pure existence in this world is to bring it back around. So I won't be liked. I will be misunderstood. That's not my fucking business. I walk my truth. I stand firm on what I believe in. And I read a quote the other day that said that, wait, where is it? I think I wrote it down. Oh, and I said, oh my God, I got to go further into this writer because this one quote was like, it said, your body, listen very carefully, your body is not a coffin for pain to be buried in. Move it out. And we want to talk about, I'm living my best life. I'm going to live my life. I've done this. I've done that. I'm going to live your. And when I read that quote, I felt like an elephant sitting on my chest because that is what we do. We take that pain and we store it deep inside of us. So of course we're going to have triggers. And when I read that your body is not a coffin, move it the fuck out. That is your job. Your job. Only your job. You are the grave digger. Dig up that coffin, open that bitch up, and let it gain wings and leave from you, never to return. It is up to you. So get your shovel ready, mi gente. For all of us that have that pain that we're still holding on to, get your shovel ready. Start digging, and then come back and tell me the story. Because why are we going to keep on telling the same story with no results? And then get mad at people because they don't want to wallow in the shit with us. Let's pick up. That's your love language. Your love language should be, I love myself enough to look at all the ugly parts of me and remove. And even if it's one step at a time, go to removing. Rip up that paper and then burn the bitch. You don't need those words, those false words that were given to you once upon a time. Oh, this is when he loved me. No. Love never dies. It never fades. It never
No,
goes.
and you are right about that. This is when no, he did. I mean, people do fall in love. I mean, this is true. People do fall in love, and it could be a really legit love, and then they grow apart. I mean, they just do. And it's interesting with humans that we can fall in love and be so dedicated to somebody, and then we fall out of love, and then they become a despicable human being to us. And but I have to think that there still wasn't, like if I admire the couples that get together and they love each other, and then they're together for a certain period of time, and then they realize we're not meant for each other anymore. And it's a very mutual, it doesn't happen often, but it's a very mutual split, very respectful split that, there was a time where we loved each other like this. We still love each other. We care about each other, but we realize too that we can't be a couple. We just don't work that way. But I honor that person and I want the best for that person. That's so healthy. It's because each individual understood themselves enough and then also understood the other person to respect them. And that, again, that has probably everything to do with their love languages. They understood themselves, what they needed. They also understood the other person, and they might not have been willing to continue to give to that other person in the way that they needed to receive it. I mean, so this is why it's so important, the more we know about ourselves and then move on to the outside. Don't worry about what the other person wants, because we do that all the time. We always were, well, I know, what do they want? What does my child want? What does my spouse want? What does my mother want? What does my father want? Wait, let me think about me first, and then sit down and think about them. Because you end up on a holiday such as yesterday, you end up buying crap that nobody needs. And just for the sake of buying it, oh, well, he didn't get me anything for Valentine's Day. Well, what did you really want? Like, what were you looking for? Well, all he got, and then they get them and they're like, well, he got me flowers and candy. I didn't want flowers and candy. All right, you're being an ass here. Like, what is it that you wanted? What was really important to you? Well, all I wanted was for him to be off that, and like we just sit and have time together, quality time. Say that. Well, I wanted him to cook for me. Well, say that, and maybe he's not he's like, I don't want to cook. I'm tired when I come from work. I don't want to cook. But maybe there could have been a thing in the middle. It's like we do all this guesswork and then we have this expectation and then it doesn't happen. And then we get all pissed off. When we look at this and honor ourselves and our love language for ourselves, and then be very clear to other people, that's not going to work for me. Like if somebody's constantly giving you gifts and you're like, that's not my love language, and then you say to them, listen, I really appreciate the gesture. I do, but I don't like receiving gifts. That's just not my thing. I would so much rather you just come and we go for a walk and we hang out and you tell them. And if they can't honor that because of their own stuff, then you have to pull yourself away and say, please understand that find somebody else then to buy those gifts for, because that's just not going to work for me. I love you.
How many women are, Go ahead. I love you.
No, I was
How many women are courageous enough to say that? One. And most importantly, how many women are aware of who they are so that they can have the courage to say that?
Right.
Exactly. Atticus, my granddaughter bought me the book of poems and quotes from Atticus, I think 4 years ago, my granddaughter. But he said, what good are wings? What good is it to have wings? I'm not verbatim. If you don't have the courage to fly.
Right.
So what good is love? Or for you to want to have love if you can't identify healthy, strong boundaries for that love to fit perfectly in your life, as perfect as allowed for a human consumption of emotions. What good is it? So if you can't say, you know what, instead of giving me gifts, can we, I don't know, donate that amount of money somewhere? Or you can do it anywhere. Or go and go out to eat and pay the tables next to you. There's so many ways you can pay it forward.
Yes.
But where's the courage to say that? Or do you not have the courage because you don't want to offend them because, oh, he likes to give gifts, but it makes me feel some kind of way. Again, where's your love? Where's your self-love? Listen, love is so strong and it's powerful and it makes you smile. It gives you butterflies in the stomach. It makes your little man on the boat do the dance when you see that special person come in. Have boundaries. That's all we're saying. This love month is about awareness, awakening. It's everything. The alchemist to bring you back to you. That is what we're doing. The Badass Buddha, both the Badass Buddha and I have had relationships where it wasn't up to par. So when I'm talking, I'm not talking because I've heard other people talk or I've read books. I'm talking through experience. I will get up and walk away from everything and take my books and my clothes. Done it.
And that was the difference between the two of us, where she, like, that's what I admire about her, is that she was like, okay, this isn't working, I'm out. Whereas I'm like holding on to grim death, like, no. and and in a way, either end of the spectrum isn't always the healthiest, because what the heart-to-heart talk that she and I had on Monday was, she reflected back and said that sometimes that wasn't always the best thing, to be able to just say, okay, I'm out, I'm gone. I will say personally that I believe that that's healthier than my situation, where I just stayed way longer than should have ever been, because then it just sucks the life out of you. It kills your spirit. It sucks away at your soul.
Well, yeah, because see, when you can go back healthily with an open mind and things from your past, then identify, did I fuck up? Was I the fuck up in this relationship? Was it just doomed from the start? Was it more of a sexual attraction? Did we meet up? See, at 19, I didn't have the knowledge that I learned later on, that I love, that I'm so turned on by conversation, by intellectual conversation. If we can talk at any level, use any type of words to describe ourselves, whether they be Harvard words or the hood words, then we good. We are good because we can understand each other regardless of situation. But in one of the instances that the badass Buddha is talking about, that I shared with her, is that had I had a mentor or someone in my life that said relationships go through this, and I think that's why I worked so hard, because of that one relationship that I was in from the age of 19 to almost 32, and I had nobody to guide me, so I was pulling at strings because I grew up in an unhealthy home.
Yeah.
But it led me to so many different destinations that although my heart was sad, I learned such a big lesson. And let me tell you, 2 other homes after that, got up, got dressed, and walked the fuck out. And I had no problems, because material things have never had more value over me. Never. And that's from a young age. I said, if this is meant to be in my life, it will return in some way, shape, or form. And and if I had any proof, it's this that I found yesterday. I don't hold on to anything that's going to take up space in my life unnecessarily, especially material things. Because if they're meant to come back, they will return. And Kathy, that's great that Marty worked late and he still found a way to make things happen, because that's what it is. So whether you're holding on to bullshit, it's your choice. Whether you got hurt 10 years ago and that person's moved on or pretend it didn't happen, and you're still peeling the scab off your wounds, it's your fault. Always bring it back to you, because you are the wisest person in your life. And remember, look at each step before climbing, because you got to do one step at a time. You can't take in the whole staircase and then wonder why shit's not happening for you. And that's a conversation for next month or something. But I love that the badass Buddha and I are on opposite spectrums of Valentine's Day, because it's still about love, regardless if I like to celebrate it or not. And she enjoys it. It's not about that. The bottom line is we love love.
Yes,
And
we
love
both
is a
do.
beautiful thing when it's coming from a healthy mind, heart, and soul. So you have to love yourself enough to remove all of that pain that you've been holding on to, yet blaming everybody outside of you. I don't care who hurt you. You're giving them the power to control you, because they've moved on. You gotta let it go. And don't forget it, but let it go from your body. It's not healthy. It's still tormenting your mind, it's churning your heart, and it's making your intestines be twisting and flipping and memories that pop in. Let it go. Because that's what love is when you're loving yourself, is saying these people have no longer have space to dwell within me. Because no matter what pain they put you through yesterday, you're still breathing and kicking today. So did it really damage you? Or did you think it damaged you? Or did your heart feel hurt because you poured more love into that cup than they did? And now you're feeling like, no. You poured
Yeah,
all
that's
that
a
love
good.
into somebody, just know that that's a love that never runs out. So that means you've learned that you are a loving person. Now let's go find somebody who's going to appreciate it like the badass
Yeah,
person.
exactly. Oh, that's exactly right. Thank you for saying that. I want to read something. It's the lyrics to one of my favorite songs I've known since I was younger, and from one of my favorite singers. And you'll know this as soon as I start reading the lyrics. You'll know it, but it's very heartfelt. Um, and it says, "Some say love it is a river that drowns the tender reed. Some
Some
say love
say
it is
love
some say love it is a razor that
is.
leaves your soul to bleed. Some say love it is a hunger and endless aching need. I say love it is a flower and you its only seed. It's the heart afraid of breaking that never learns to dance. It's the dream afraid of waking that never takes the chance. It's the one who can't be taken. I'm sorry, it's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give, and the soul afraid of dying that never learns to live." And then it says, "And when the night has been too lonely and the road has been too long, and you think that love is only for the lucky and the strong," it always makes me emotional. Sorry, I didn't mean to cry on this. It says, "Just remember in the winter, far beneath the bitter snow, lies the seed that with the sun's love in the spring becomes the rose." And the words are so powerful because it's reminding you what really love is. Like it's an interpretation. Some people think that love is just, it's a heartbreak, and I could think that way because I've had my heart broken, because I allowed my heart to be broken. I put myself out there to people that didn't respect or love me back the way that I deserved, but I also didn't either. And so, looking at the words to that song, it's like if I remind myself, as other people should, I'm shitting on you, is that it is a seed, and it's like it's your only seed, and in the spring it's going to pop up. And what's funny is yesterday I was outside. It's February, mid-February, and there's plants popping up here in Tennessee
Mm-hmm.
already. Not just crocuses. We're talking like it looks like tulips and stuff. And I looked at that and I was thinking the same thing. It's like if we look at it from that perspective and we say, you know what, I deserve love. I'm going to love myself, and I'm going to attract the people that are going to love me, and I'm going to plant that seed. And when it grows, it's I'm the one who gets to nurture it, and those people that really truly love me will also nurture it as well. They help it grow, and then in turn I will help them grow. I've given up on the idea of loving people more than I love myself. It's almost equal. I mean, I just, to me it's like I love myself and I'm going to love others, and I'm not going to be afraid to do that. And when you go through that in your life and you've been hurt, it's hard to sometimes see that. But in the end, it's like, once again, it's like you have to know that it's you, like you first, then you can love other people. So find that, plant that seed, and um be your own rose. Listen to the go to the video, listen to Bette Midler's. I mean, I just love the way Bette Midler, that
It
is
is.
so, that is so
It's
her
a
song.
beautiful song. And it's like we talked, like I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, we were talking about you have to be the gardener of your roots. And just like that song reminded many people, you are that fertilized soil, and you are the seeds you put into that soil. And the darkness you're going through right now isn't a curse. It isn't an evil presence. It's not anything negative, because seeds cannot flourish into the beautiful tulips and roses and elm trees and without being shoved into darkness. And that molds them to be that strong, strong root that's going to sprout through the dirt, and it's going to survive through the rain and the winds and the bugs, and it's going to grow. That is you being the gardener of your roots. So listen to the song if you do. But what I'm saying is, I'm sorry, I still got that nasty cough. But you have to remind yourself that never be ashamed of anything you've done. You got to face it, fix it, and make it better. You got to build confidence. You got to build trust where nothing can hurt you going forward. You faced your demons. You were able to hear all of your past, heal your past traumas to fucking say, I'm no longer embarrassed or ashamed. And I'm going to fix this because I have one life to live. One life, mi gente. We get one life. And we don't know how long it's going to be. So every day, when you find yourself upset, aggravated, ready to gossip about somebody and what you feel they're incapable of or shouldn't be doing, take a deep breath. Stop your bullshit. Take a deep breath and come back to you. Why am I feeling this way? Did I self sabotage a goal or a plan or a vision that I had? And now I'm upset because they're following through on theirs. Am I upset because I'm choosing to be single and I go out and all I see are happy couples? Identify, identify, because sometimes we are going to feel that way. And it's normal. But don't go into this, oh, they think there's, don't go into that because you need to turn it around. Because love doesn't think that way. Love doesn't feel that way. So when you start feeling yourself going off a deep end in negativity, stop. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Take another deep breath and fix it. Because that's love. That's self love. That is the power of self love, letting you know I'm checking your ass. Let's get back to us. And that's a beautiful thing. Chanel says she loves her paycheck.
Chanel said she had to go and she had to go to her job. And then she said, no, I'm grateful that I have a job. I love my paycheck. That's
Good. But remember, you are the gardener of the roots. And the story that the badass Buddha just said, how she's seeing these leaves and tulips sprouting right now. What does that tell you? That's you just gave us hope that we're still in winter in February and life is starting to break through. So by her sharing that should be something for all of us to say. The seasons are going to come and go, and I'm going to be here living through each season. So each season really is a season of my life, depending where I live, but I make things happen. I cultivate the growth in my life through love, through trust, and through self-respect. Cultivate it all the way around, because I didn't have this weather in Florida, but winter is winter everywhere, and things grow as they should and the time that they should. So, what's holding you back from growing? Read The Alchemist, learn, come back to yourself, and then we'll talk some more. And that song, I wish you would at least sing the first couple verses because it is such a beautiful. And if you don't, tell them what the name is and who's the singer. Again,
it's the
so
Rose.
they can
It's
listen.
the Rose by Bette Midler. You really want me to sing it? Love. I do love that song. It's and I haven't, you know, I hadn't listened to that. I hadn't listened to that song in quite some time, and then all of a sudden it just sort of, I was thinking about some older songs, and I played that one. Of course, Madeline says it makes her cry. It makes me cry all the time too. And it's also from a phenomenal movie. That's like actually what started her career. But I mean, we sang that song when I was a kid in chorus, you know, like that was like a really popular song in our school, like when our music classes. So, but I'm looking at the meaning. Like I had always listened to the lyrics, but then I was just the other day when I was listening to it, I was listening to the lyrics going, my gosh, this is really a really powerful song. Like it gives you hope, you know? And I think that's what we need. And I think people would be less depressed around Valentine's Day or the holidays like Christmas when they think about being with people. If we could let go, excuse me, of those things that those expectations of how we need to be loved, who needs to be loving us, and then start with loving ourselves, then we would be able to forge much healthier relationships in our lives, and then these holidays wouldn't be so bad. For us, it was just a regular old day yesterday. It really wasn't anything. And none of us were upset about it here in the household. Maybe it was a chance to just say, I love you to some people. I got some text messages and it was nice. Again, do we need those? I've made an effort to where I don't need to have a holiday to say it, you know. I make every effort, not try, I mean, I make every effort to say things like that, send little love gifts to people if I'm just thinking about them. So, but also love myself. And that's where that's come from. As I've loved myself more and put more respect on myself, it's enabled me to love people better. So, anyway, so we're at the end. So this was
I'm
wonderful.
looking at myself and I look like I'm at Walgreens ready to take a picture for a passport. With the back wall being plain. I think that was beautiful. I think we all take love differently, but let's take it all in healthily.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay? Because my view and the badass view, as you can tell if you've watched our show from the beginning, they differ on certain subjects. But when you want to accept love, because we both do, just make sure it's healthy because we've shared our pain and we've shared our lack of vision of what is healthy and what wasn't back in the day. So let's not move forward and tell stories that could have been avoided. So love you and then demand the same love in return.
Great. All right. So listen, keep reading The Alchemist. Have a beautiful weekend. Continue to celebrate love for this month, for all weekend, for yourself and for those that you love around you as well. And that's it. So from the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, mi gente, remember to breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.